Happy Saturday. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about marriage or relationships versus children, okay? Of course, it goes into the same scenario of family, all right? Let's not, think that it doesn't. It does. But for the challenge, I want to separate them and say, what is more challenging, okay? So I'm going to answer from my point of view, and I want you to answer from your point of view, opinion, what have you. You don't have to agree with me, okay? And so for myself, I would say at times both of them can be more challenging. At times this side can be more challenging. At times that side can be more challenging. And then at times both at the same time are challenging. Okay, we're talking about marriage versus children, okay? And so I would say for myself, I was a single mom for a little bit, and off and on for a little bit. I've been married for over 20 something years, but we have had a little bit of separation during different times. And my daughter is not his biological daughter. And so I started off as a single parent. So I would say that was challenging for me, for the point of I always wanted family. I always wanted, when I have children, for they to be within my marriage and things of that nature. But it didn't happen like that for me, okay? And so at times, having I only have one daughter, y'all. So just having my daughter and going through school, honey, school is challenging itself because you have different personalities, and your child is trying to fit in. My child is very much so a outspoken. She loves to have fun. She loves to laugh. She's a helper. And anyhow, in school there were bullies. And she gonna stand up for herself, lovely. Yes, she will. And so I had to deal with that. You had to deal with the bullying, the fighting, and the standing up for herself. And all the time, the school system was not on her side, because she's gonna do what she goes to do. Okay, you can't stop her from doing it. All right. And so sometimes that was challenging, and so we end up homeschooling. And I think she liked it sometimes, and sometimes she did not like it. So that was a challenge. And then seeing my daughter, she's 24, going to turn 25, seeing her grow up and becoming a woman, I can say of not wanting her to go through different challenges have been challenging for me. Because it's like, no, don't do this, don't do that, don't do that. Even in my head, if I say that, and not to her. And so that's a challenge on its own, to see your children or your child to go through different things. It's like, no, baby, please, I don't want that for you, or whatever. But realizing, in my grown-up self, that they're going to have their own challenges, their own trials, their own everything, okay? Good, bad, and the ugly. All right, so now for marriage, I feel like that's challenging because one is two people that's coming together. They have different backgrounds. Of course, you might marry someone that has a similar background to you, but it's still two different households. So for the most part, I grew up in a single family household. And then for the most part, my husband, he grew up in, a two family household, and his sister and things of that nature. And so that is a difference. Okay. So our thought pattern might be different on different things. Right. And so it's like two people coming together as one. All right. And then it's the male female type of thing. Y'all know sometimes we thinking in a wholesome way. We're thinking in a way of helping. We're thinking in a way of having so much mercy and so much grace. And sometimes the males are thinking in, this is right, this is wrong, punishment for this. And I'm not saying all across the board, but I'm saying it could be a more stern feeling, or towards like different things that's like rearing children, or what he may want me to do or not do, or something like that. Just coming together and just having different thoughts. Okay, so that part is challenging. Now, how to solve these different things? Okay, because both can be challenging, like I said, and at different times they can be challenging in their own right. And so what I would say is, first of all, when you're thinking about marriage, definitely for myself, I went through marriage counseling. And so I was able to talk about different things. I definitely told my husband, or at that time, my soon-to-be husband, my background of different things I had went through. I'm adopted. I was molested when I was a very young child. What else? At that point in time, I had my daughter, and he was at her first birthday party, and of course her second birthday party. But I was like, I'm tired of relationship stuff. Like, you have to be the real deal, okay? And so I told my husband all of those different things that I went through in life at that point in time, and I was like, I was not. I'm tongue-tied, y'all. but I was not willing to go through a whole bunch of things. But granted, we did go through a whole bunch of things. So I would say, first of all, make sure that I would say, go through marriage counseling. Also, get on one accord of what you want your life to look in the future. Have those different talks. And then for your children, make sure that you are forgiving towards them, having patience towards them. Because like we wanted our parents to do, we wanted our parents to be merciful. We wanted our parents to give us things. We want our parents to be loving. Okay? So why not do those things with our children? Even though it could be challenging. It could be, ooh, I don't like you today. Okay, like the husband, ooh, you are not my friend today. But y'all, either one of them can be very much so challenging at different times and even at the same time. But again, there is a family dynamic, okay? And so I just put them apart to say what is more challenging at times. Because sometimes you can have a perfect marriage, if you will, okay? And then the children be like, whoo, check. But we know that's not reality. They have to stay our own. So, but all in all, I'm very grateful for what God has given me. There has been times that I have not wanted any more children. And honey, God did not give me any more children. God gave me fibroids, okay? Like, handle your fibroids. I don't know what's in the future. But as of right now, God did not give me more children because it's a lot. And the generation that's going on now, it be like, I be praying for folks like, Lord. But make sure that you're, doing all the healthy things to have a healthy balance in a family, helping your children, talk to your children, when they're getting bullied or when they're getting harassed, even in their older years, when they're getting harassed, bullied at work, or when they're not liking something in the home atmosphere, talk to them. Okay, they deserve to be talked to be listened to as well. And of course, in marriage, sometimes you do have to go through marriage counseling while you married as well, maybe several times. Make sure it's somebody that you trust. Okay, I love journaling. So make sure you do that as well. Get your feelings out. Talk to God. Okay, whatever name you want to name God or what have you in your religion, make sure you're doing that. And then talking about religion, make sure that you put in God first, your spiritual life, first, or what have you. Make sure you're tithing, giving, whatever, offering, whatever it is within your spiritual life. Make sure you're giving back to your community. Doing things, asking for forgiveness, okay? Doing things to make your life lighter. Okay, and so those things will help you when those things are challenging. You know how to pray. You know how to go to God. You know how to go to your spouse. You know how to go to your children. You know how to talk things out and not just keep them in. Okay, but also that centers around who's in your environment. Okay, and so that's a whole nother story. But if it's you, your husband, and your children, make sure you try to have something that's wholesome. Okay, so when those challenges happen, you're able to survive still in those challenges, right? I'm not saying go to your child and talk about your relationship, but definitely be able to be open if things are going on and listen to them, seeing how they feel, because they see everything that's going on, baby. The small ones, the big ones, they see everything. Okay, make sure you talk to them, and make sure you have an ongoing relationship of talking with your spouse or whoever you're in a relationship, if you're not married. Okay, so that's it. That's how I feel about it. That yes, both of them can be challenging at times, but you can get through it. You can get through it with counseling. You can get through it with journaling. You can get through it, of course, with talking with God, with getting on one accord. All right, those things are going to help you with the challenges. All right, this has been Moments with Kathy. Y'all have continue to have a blessed day.